Do you remember anything else about Joe Dunn and Bobby Yale's argument?
No, not really, no. Only Joe yelling. If you do, I'll call off the fight and kick you out of the gym.
Did you know Joe Dunn had a gun in his safe?
No way, man. He hated firearms. Although... When Bobby Yale was a teenager, he went through a crazy phase. Even dropped out of the gym and joined the gang. Nothing serious. Early one morning, he broke in the gym. Joe was already here and caught him red-handed. Bobby pointed the gun at Dunn and ordered him to open the safe. So, Joe opened it and asked Bobby to put the gun aside, leave the gang and start boxing again. I got here 5 minutes later and found Bobby crying like a baby in Joe's arms. Then he just stood up and put on his gloves.
Not all folks are as open-minded as Dunn. I happen to know who painted the lockers. Arthur Tucker.
I knew it. I knew it was him, that bastard. I'm gonna whip the white out of him.
All right. Dunn punched a paint can. But why? Wasn't he calm and composed? I know you're hiding something.
What?
You know what? You're the only woman who ever called Dunn Joey, except his late wife.
Oh, my goodness. I can't talk here. My shift is over in 10 minutes. Can you wait a while?
Can I get a refill over here, Mary?
Coming right up.
Her now. The angel Joe Dunn found in his golden years.
We'd been seeing each other for almost 2 years. It all started with... well... weekdays I start cleaning the gym at dawn, before my shift at the diner. Joey always came in early, just a little after I got there. He used to say it was the best time for the worst task of the day.
Oh, I know exactly what he meant. Say no more. Paperwork.
He really hated it. One morning, he saw me crying. I was having a rough day and...
He tried to make you smile.
He pointed at the coffee machine. You need a cup of joe and some fresh air. That was the first of many cups on the rooftop.
Which is where you seduced him.
I'm a decent woman, Mr. Blacksad. You might be too young to understand this, but real love has little to do with seduction. One day, we realized those rooftop coffees were the best part of our day. So we began to spend more time together.
But you never told anyone. Why did you keep it secret?
For Sonia's sake. She and Joey drifted apart after her mother's death. He was afraid that our relationship would only make matters worse. Until one day, on the rooftop, we realized just how serious our relationship was. And we decided to turn those moments into a lifetime.
So he asked you to marry him.
Yes, of course. He gave me the wedding ring and we decided to tell the world. He said he needed to share that happiness with his little girl. Turns out, he wasn't that happy after all.
What about Yale? Wasn't he like a son to him?
Maybe you already noticed, I have a slight cold. I really should be heading home.
Maybe you should cover your neck.
I lost my scarf a while back, not sure where. And now, if you'll excuse me, that's my bus stop. A pleasure to speak with you, Mr. Blacksad.
Sonia's indifference never ceased to amaze me. But most importantly, why was she suddenly defending Yale?
John Blacksad? I think I owe you an apology.
Apology accepted. But what exactly are you apologizing for?
Listen, I don't think my fellow workers treated you with the respect you deserve. I'm so sorry they wrinkled your suit. The thing is, they didn't know we shared a common goal. Bobby Yale. I want to find him and get to the bottom of this as much as you do, Mr. Blacksad. So please, kindly accept my invitation. Why not share our findings? Come on.
I'm afraid I have to say no. I can't ride in a fancy car with a wrinkled suit.
Oh, I don't see why not. In any case, if those little wrinkles make you uncomfortable... I always play it nice and safe. Thank you, Blacksad. You won't regret this. So let's cut to the chase. I need Bobby Yale to fight Stone. There's just too much money at stake. So, I'm offering you my help to find Yale. Let's work together.
What kind of help do you need?
A simple exchange of information. You're a good detective, and I, well, let's just say I have my own ways of making people talk.
All right, then. Let's work together.
I thought you'd be hard to convince, that you'd appeal to the moral high ground or something. Please, hear me out. Let's say I bet a beer that we find Yale in 3 days, and you bet a beer that we don't. In 3 days, one of us has to buy the other a beer. Is that so bad? We're simply two grown men using our money and free will to conduct a small private exchange. And most importantly, we're not hurting anyone. So, yeah, I run a gambling business. What's so bad about that?
It's illegal, for starters.
Illegal? Let me tell you what should be illegal. The way our government is ruining America. We live in a so-called free country, a place where honest people can make a living, provided they don't hurt anybody. We're not communists. Well, at least I'm not.
I would have never thought otherwise. As for me, I'm not either.
Ha! Well then, you see, we're all among friends. In any case, that's not my point. The government betrays our nation's values by passing communist laws that forbid an honest man like me to make a living without hurting a soul. And that, Mr. Blacksad, is just wrong. I'd even say it's unconstitutional. Do you get my point now?
All right, I get your point.
Ha! I knew you would. When the government passes these laws, there's only one legitimate weapon the people can wield. The same weapon that turned America into a great nation. Civil disobedience. So, as the proud American that I am, it's my duty to disobey.
You're bending the truth to justify organized crime.
Oh no. It might have been organized crime, but not anymore. I wasn't always a boss, you know. No, sir. I started at the bottom, when Lucky Blitzen ran the show. That good for nothing. His was a reign of terror, extortion, violence, you know, that sort of unpleasant thing. When I took over, I decided I'd make people want to do my bidding. Not out of fear, but out of gratitude. I decided to help people so they would help me.
That beating your thugs gave me was really helpful. Thank you so much.
Those poor bastards didn't even know you were a detective, that you were on our side.
Maybe at first. But when they tied me up and beat the socks off me, they knew very well who I was.
Seriously? That goes against my rules. Who was it?
It was just Wilson.
That bastard. Don't you worry. I will have a serious talk with him. I cannot tolerate this behavior. Please accept my apologies, Mr. Blacksad. As I said before, I like to help people so I can count on their gratitude. That applies to fellow partners like police or, in this case, a detective. I won't deny this business has its fair amount of violence, extortion, and casualties, but I'd rather leave that to my enemies. And you are not my enemy. And, it looks like we're here.
Yale's apartment?
I told you, I'm on your side. Go ahead, search the place. I'll wait down here. When you're done, you can honor our arrangement and share your findings with me. Or not. It's your call, Mr. Blacksad. I'll make sure you're suitably compensated. Wilson, come here.
The worst thing about O'Leary's boys dropping by isn't the beating, but the fact that I can't tell what's theirs and what's Yale's. Can't say this is the ideal drink for an athlete. Then again, it could be your classic bookie thug lunch. Ugh. 17th century French fables. Mayor must be one boring old lady. Judging by the general state of the apartment, they were leading a quiet life. So, you like your mob stories, don't you, Bobby? Seems like Bobby inherited something more than boxing skills from his father, besides the tendency to vanish into thin air, of course. Nice chain. Why would you want such a big closet for so few clothes? Unless someone emptied it recently. Copy 1 of 3. Do you know any of his relatives?
His father, Avenarius.
Avenarius? The boxer poet? Didn't he disappear 20 years ago? I'm not sure how Yale's love of pickles will help me crack the case, but it's good to know. A woman's fragrance. almost angelical. That means she's been here recently, but why? What does Sweet Mary have to do with Yale, the murder suspect? When I left, I told O'Leary I hadn't found a thing. The minute I was alone, I left for Mary's. But before all that, I took a small parting gift for her. I've never trusted angels.
Mr. Blacksad? What a...
Surprise? When they fall, they turn into demons.
Joey told me he was going to spend the afternoon painting the gym and that Bobby would be fixing something up on the roof. So, after I found the body and called the police, I went to Bobby's place, but he wasn't there.
How did you open the door to his apartment?
I think it was already open. Everything is so confusing. I'm sorry, Mr. Blacksad.
Don't be. I'm here to figure it all out. What's your relationship with Bobby Yale?
He was like a son to Joey, and we were about to get married, so, you know.
Okay, I think it's time to set things straight. I knew you were cheating on Dunn with Yale. Or was it the other way around?
No. How can you even think of something like that?
How can you convince me otherwise? I found a picture at Yale's apartment. It's you and him on a roller coaster. Care to explain, Miss Purnell?
I'm not white, Mr. Blacksad.
What?
7 of my great-grandparents were white. The 8th was black. According to law, I'm a black citizen, even if my skin says the contrary. Do you know what that means when you're born in North Arlington, Alabama?
Segregated housing, with far worse homes for colored people.
We even have different water fountains, for God's sake. The separate but equal doctrine and all that.
That baloney.
And all the lies. That's why I moved here. No one knows what color my great-grandparents were.
I'm black too, and I don't hide it.
Well, at least you're a man.
In any case, what's that have to do with Bobby Yale?
He's my nephew, Mr. Blacksad. Joe and I first started taking care of poor Bobby when my sister died. That was when he was almost 15. The three of us went on that trip to Luna Park.
So this is where Joe Dunn comes in.
Bobby was the only one who knew about me and Joey. We were afraid that someone would use my past to ruin his career.
It's not the first time I hear that story. You should have told me this sooner.
I've been hiding it all my life. I'm sorry.
Mary smells like... Actually, the whole room smells like a pie fresh out of the oven, so I can't identify any other fragrances. TV and radio all in one. Where will these mad times lead us? About Sonia Dunn and the ring. Well, I told her about you and Joe Dunn. I had no choice.
And what did she say?
I don't think she took it too well, but she might come to understand it.
Maybe. But I'm not so sure you'll be able to keep my other secrets safe.
Are you sure you don't know where your nephew is?
I've looked everywhere. He's nowhere to be found.
Don't worry. I'll find him.
Thank you.
Fresh out of the oven. The whole room smells like pie. That cherry pie smells so good. I'm starting to get hungry.
Thanks. I pulled it out of the oven right before you arrived. Oh, where are my manners? I'm the worst hostess in the world. Let me go get a knife from the kitchen. And you must be thirsty. Let me see. OJ? Coffee?
I'll take some coffee, thanks. She's wearing the same clothes in both pictures, so she's probably telling the truth. That's some beautiful artwork you got there. Now that there's almost no pie left, the scent has also disappeared. Interesting. Now Mary smells like a huge dog. Mary, when are you going to stop lying? I know your nephew is here. I can smell him.
What? No. I already told you I don't know where he is.
Stop playing around and tell me. Where is he?
You can search the whole house if you want. Go ahead. He's not here.
Wait a minute. She's not the one who smells like that. That's where Bobby Yale's scent is coming from. So, that's why you were sitting there.
What? I don't know what you're talking about.
Yes, you do. Could you step aside so I can check, please?
Please go.
Mary, for Christ's sake, put that knife down, would you?
Leave or I'll...
Mary, I came here to help.
I mean it.
I don't want to hurt you.
Leave her alone!
Bobby!
I'm on your side, Bobby.
I'm not on yours!
Bobby!
Call an ambulance. Do as I say. Go on, call an ambulance. Do it now. In the face of a heart attack, there's two things you can't forget. 1, stay calm. 2, 1 chest compression per second. 1 Mississippi. 2 Mississippi. 3 Mississippi. 4 Mississippi. 5 Mississippi. 6 Mississippi.
Bobby! Oh, Bobby! Thank you, Bobby. Bobby. Thank you.
I had lots of reasons to consider this a great day. I had investigated a suicide case. I had discovered that, in truth, we were dealing with a murder. I had found and captured the prime suspect. And I had saved a life. And yet, everything in me screamed that something was going wrong. Terribly wrong.
Promise me you won't take the law into your own hands. I'd like to think we're not just vigilantes.
I want a gun!
What the hell?
Bang, bang, bang!
A fair amount of violence, extortion, and casualty.
I hate detectives.
Bang, bang, bang!
You're dead meat, cat.
That you, Smirnoff?
You seem agitated. Nightmare?
Yeah, I have a lot of those.
Yeah, that makes two of us. Anyway, why don't you go home? In his current condition, Yale's not going anywhere. Besides, we'll take it from here.
Who is that? Can we trust him?
I know how to pick my men, John. You? I'm not so sure. I asked you not to get involved, or at least give me a heads up.
If I hadn't intervened, Bobby Yale could be dead.
If you had warned me, maybe we could have avoided a heart attack. Anyway, what's done is done. When exactly did you realize that he killed Dunn? Out of sheer curiosity. I'm a cop after all.
As soon as I realized that the murder weapon belonged to him.
How about the motive? Any ideas?
I know Dunn wanted to call the fight off after something Yale did, but I still don't know what.
In any case, hopefully Yale will tell us more.
Would you let me ask him some questions when he wakes up?
I know you will, with or without my permission, so I'd rather not feel betrayed. In exchange, drop by the station when you can. Your investigation could really help my men. Who, by the way, must be waiting for me to interrogate Mary Purnell. Boy, she was hard to pry from Yale's side.
Don't go too soft on her. That girl's quite the liar.
Will do. Thanks for the advice. And as for you, go get some rest. God knows you need it.
I will. Thanks for the advice.
Tell the nurses to look at that face of yours. You look like a film detective in his last scene.
I'm afraid this film isn't over yet.
For your sake, I hope you're wrong. You're in charge now, officer.
Okay.
I'll send you relief in 6 hours. Understood?
Doctor,
Who are?
Oh, detective. Congratulations. You fared pretty well against that kid. Better than most would have. Now, if you'll excuse me.
well, I always land on my feet. We, as a society, simply don't trust reptiles. But that's not the real problem. The real problem is our extended belief that there's logic to that distrust, that it's natural and well-founded. How's Yale? Is he awake?
Oh, yeah. Go check on him before he falls asleep again. Although, try not to bother him with too many questions.
Will this have long-term effects on his health?
It's too soon to tell. He did have a heart attack after all.
Go away. I don't want to see you. The doctor told me to sleep.
I rarely get to interrogate a suspect with his guard down in a place as quiet as this. Getting the chance to study his body language with no distractions is a rare gift. His heart rate is increasing. It could mean that he's lying, but it could also just be pure, unadulterated rage. He's looking straight at me. If he couldn't hold my stare, I'd think he's lying, but that's not the case. He's clenching his fist, a sign of contained anger. Clenched fist, fast heart rate, fixed stare. He feels some genuine rage towards me. I'm sorry you don't want to see me, but I saved your life, son.
Maybe my aunt feels gratitude. I certainly don't. Luckily, I just got my medication. I'll be snoozing soon.
All right, I'll just cut to the chase. Is he lying, or did his heart rate speed up out of rage? He can't look me in the eye. I'd say he's lying. Is he holding back his rage? Who killed Joe Dunn?
What? Are you trying to confuse me? Joe hanged himself.
Dunn was too short to hang himself with that rope.
So, it's true? He was murdered.
I know the murder weapon was yours.
What? The rope? I don't get it. What weapon do you mean?
Don't play with me, boy. The chest expander.
An expander? I've never had one of those.
All right. Let's just say that I believe you. The murderer killed Dunn with a chest expander and planted evidence to make us believe it was suicide. But he also left enough clues behind to make sure we found the true murder weapon. Then he put the chest expander box in your locker to frame you. Do you know anyone that twisted and who also happens to have a motive?
I don't know.
Maybe it was... What am I saying? Jake could never pull off something like that. Nothing. Never mind. What about Frank Cassidy? Do you think he has a motive?
Maybe. A few weeks ago, Joe took me to a boxing managers association meeting.
Headed by Cassidy.
Yeah. He was obsessed with making it illegal for boxers to fight without a manager, or without an associated manager. Everyone seemed to go along with it until Joe spoke up. He said that would lower us to mob status, that Cassidy had founded the association just to make money by monopolizing the sport. That made others think twice, and Cassidy ended up empty-handed.
Poor Cassidy. What about Sonia Dunn?
Sonia? I doubt it. She's odd, but she's his daughter.
I've seen worse, believe me. Desmond O'Leary certainly seems twisted enough. Did he have anything against Dunn?
I'm not sure if they knew each other. At least not in person. About a month ago, Joe kicked one of O'Leary's men out of the gym. He was trying to give a business card to...
Jake was Giambi.
Yeah, exactly. Did Jake tell you about that?
Something like that.
Blacksad. I think I owe you an, You know, my father disappeared when I was 6, right after winning a fight. We never heard from him again. Do you know what that does to a kid? Who knows where I'd be if Joe Dunn hadn't been in my life. Even when I lost my way and put a gun to his head years later, he still took me under his wing and managed to steer me in the right direction. And now that he's gone, you're risking your life to find his murderer. Thanks.
Thank you for... Is that eye movement normal? The hands say a lot about what's going on inside a person. He seems restless. Should I tell someone? The number of cigarette butts is inversely proportional to my hours of sleep. Ah, damn.
See? There's no fever whatsoever. He must be having a nightmare.
Are you sure?
Wouldn't you have nightmares too after what he went through yesterday? I know I sure wouldn't sleep.
I have nightmares myself, but those go way back.
Oh, the poor thing. Do you know what my nightmare is? It's that witch I have to work with. Oh, good thing she's got trauma surgery at 12:30, but I wish it were a little sooner, you know? Anyway, thank you for letting me know, and for bringing him in. You don't know how excited I am to be involved in a criminal case.
It might not be important, but I need to take a look at his medical report. Ugh. I need to take a look at his medical report. No, the footprints don't match. If Yale killed Dunn, he did it without stepping in the paint, or in different shoes. Blacksad here.
Please don't tell me my husband.
You have nothing to worry about, Mrs. Colbert. Do me a favor and enjoy your family.
Oh, thank God. Thank you, Mr. Blacksad.
Hello?
Hi, Ray.
Hi. Who are you?
Take a guess. I already gave you a clue. I know your name, so...
I don't know.
That means I'm a detective.
No way. My Uncle John is a real detective, and he's way cooler than you. Wait a minute. You're Uncle John. Uncle John, I guessed it. I'm a detective, too. Mom, it's Uncle John. I guessed it.
You got me, Ray. Congrats.
What did I win?
What do you want?
I want a gun. Bang, bang, bang. Bang, bang.
Good guys don't carry guns, Ray. You know why? Because they always end up shooting someone.
Yeah, that's why they're so cool. Oops, Mom's coming. Bye, Uncle John.
Ray, is that the way you say goodbye to your uncle?
Oops. Love you, Uncle John.
Now go put on your jacket. We're late.
Bang, bang, bang.
What a surprise. How are you?
Hey, Donna.
Bang, bang, bang.
Everything's fine. Don't you worry about me.
I do worry about you. Especially when you tell me not to.
Yeah, can't argue with that.
Hey, we're kind of in a hurry. Ray's got a dentist appointment. I'll call you soon, okay? I'm really sorry.
Sure. One last thing.
Ray, hurry up. We have to go.
Have you heard from Dad lately?
Not since his last letter. Same old, same old. Okay, now I really have to go. Bye, John.
Bye, Uncle John.
Jake, it's Blacksad. Could you get...
I have work to do, John. Call you later. Ronald, get on that ring!
Hi.
You're awake, handsome?
I'll take a pack of Morley's, please.
Honey, get me a pack of Morleys for Mr. Handsome.
Yale's medical report is right there. Mind if I take a look?
No, I don't think so, handsome.
What if you show me Yale's report and I buy you dinner?
You're handsome, all right, but I'm not stupid.
I won't be able to read Yale's medical report if she's around. It seems like the Doe nurse will be assisting Dr. Talbot during his 12:30 surgery. In 4 hours. Could I get them to operate any sooner?
Trauma? Sherry speaking.
Get Dr. Gregor Talbot, please.
Yes, 1 minute. No, actually, Dr. Talbot won't be in until 12:30 according to my registry. Can I ask who's calling, please?
Sherry, this is Dr. Talbot. We have to reschedule the 12:30 procedure. I want everyone in the operating room in 5 minutes. If anyone gives you any grief, tell them it's a matter of life or death. Understood?
A matter death, a matter of life and death. You gotta be kidding me.
All right now, how do I put this? I need something that you...
Oh, only if you guess why I'm giving it to you.
You want to help me solve a criminal investigation.
Well, aren't you smart? But be quick about it. You hear me, huh? If that witch comes back...
What does it say here?
Ah, you know doctors. The top handwriting is mine. Let's see. Extrasystole and dehydration caused by panic attack.
Extra what?
You know, arrhythmia, like skipped heartbeats.
What about this here?
It's a good thing I know that Mr. Yale is in Dr. Ferguson's hands. Otherwise, I'd be worried.
Hey, no means no, miss.
You really don't know who I am, do you?
Miss, I've got orders. And the fact is, those orders say that...
There you are, Miss Dunn.
Huh?
Tell him, Blacksad. I can't get through that thick skull of his.
You see, Highfill, she's the owner of Yale's gym.
A woman?
Whether the kid recovers or not depends entirely on her.
Between you and me, and all due respect, miss, but aren't we taking this woman's liberation a little too far? All right, let her in, but she's your responsibility.
Thanks for convincing the cop.
You hired me to find Yale. I wanted you to see him with your own eyes.
I see. Anyway, you did your job. I'll send you a check the day after the fight. You can leave now. Why did you say that? Anyway, you did your job. I'll send you a check the day after the fight. You can leave now.
Why did you come? What are you doing here? No. She's gonna do something stupid. Sonia, don't.
He killed my father. You said so yourself.
You can't take justice into your own hands. Believe me, it will haunt you as long as you live.
He almost killed you in that floozy's apartment. How could he not be guilty?
Your father wouldn't want you to do this. He was a just man, and this is not justice.
Shut up! None of that matters. How could he not be guilty?
Since nothing else is working, it's time to bluff it. You know I emptied that gun when I found it in the safe. No.
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 Why did you say that?
Sonia, don't.
He killed my father. You said so yourself.
Your father wouldn't want you to do this. He was a just man, and this is not justice.
He almost killed you in that floozy's apartment. How could he not be guilty?
You can't take justice into your own hands. Believe me, it will haunt you as long as you live.
Shut up! None of that matters. How could he not be guilty?
Your father sacrificed everything to pay your way through college. If you do this, you'll destroy the future your father wanted you to have. It's okay. It's okay.
Uncle Tim!
Sweetie, I came back from Los Angeles as soon as I could.
I told you not to rush back.
Come on now, honey. Aren't you going to introduce me to your friend?
No, this is John Blacksad, the detective who found Bobby.
Oh, so this is strictly professional. I thought you had some good news for your uncle.
No, Uncle Tim, don't be silly.
Don't be silly. Look at you. Smart, educated, as dazzling as the brightest of stars. Every single man in this city should be at your... Come on, we'd better let him rest. I see. Let's say you're right and Bobby Yale is innocent. Who should we focus on now?
We?
Well, your father turned down my money, but he made me promise one thing, that I'd take care of you if anything happened to him.
But I can...
I know you're perfectly capable of managing that gym on your own, but we don't even know if he'll be ready to fight Stone. Besides, someone seems really invested in stopping that fight, and someone has to pay Mr. Blacksad to get to the bottom of all this. Please, talk some sense into her.
Your uncle is right. Your father wouldn't have wanted you to go through this alone.
See? Listen to the detective.
All right. Thank you, Uncle. Thank you so much.
All right, stop crying or you'll ruin your makeup, honey. Now fix yourself up and I'll buy you some breakfast.
Wait, my purse.
I'll get it. It must be...
Blacksad, wait a minute. I think she needs some time alone, just like you and me. Listen, boy, do whatever it takes to find Joe's murder. Whatever it takes. If things get messy, don't worry. I'll clean them up. Deal?
I'm not a vigilante.
Well, suit yourself. Just get that ball to the end zone.
No. Are you telling stories about the great Iron Arm again?
Wait a minute. Of course. The Milestones quarterback. Tim Iron Arm Thorpe.
It's a good thing folks usually recognize me sooner. Blacksad, you coming to breakfast?
I'd love to, but I have to go ask for a favor. The investigation required that I ask Jake for a small favor. Or demand it, if worse came to worst.